please rise.
Before I pray, let me just say thank you all for continuing to opening up your meetings with prayer. I think that's incredibly important and appreciate you all doing that. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for loving us. Thank you for this community in which we live, in a place that honors you in so many ways. I pray that you would bless each person that sits behind this table as they serve you, as they serve the people in their districts, as they do things that are founded upon the precepts and principles of your word. May you guide them in every way. May you watch over us in all that we do, protect us, provide for us, and we'll be certain to give you the praise and the glory, for it's in Christ's name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll now have the roll call, please.
Here.
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 Mason.
Here.
Ledford.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Winters.
Here.
Beatty.
Here.
Hughes.
Here.
That's 13 that are here and one absent.
Thank you very much. Approval of minutes. I'd like to entertain a motion for the Commissioner Hughes. Second, please. Commissioner Thompson on the second. Open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
13 in favor, none opposed, and one absent.
Thank you. Now we'll go to the mayor for the report from the mayor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. Really nothing to report today, just a couple of things to mention. Septic report, no changes. The Growth Committee, I had intended to announce today, but we're still waiting on a couple of appointments there from other organizations. The budget presentation is due 2 weeks from tonight, still working on it, but getting closer. And a meeting or two ago, I was asked a question that I didn't know the answer to, was when the pavilion for the BMX track was built. And talking to Andy, it predates Andy, but he guessed it to be 17 or 18 years ago. I knew it was a while ago. I remember doing it, but I didn't know exactly. So I don't know why that mattered. But anyway, someone was wanting to know how long ago we built that pavilion. That's all I had to report, unless someone has something for me.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Just a question, sir.
Yes, go ahead, please.
The one that I was asking about, Mayor, is not 17, 18 years old. It's right there at the starting gate of the track.
You talking about the roof?
Yeah.
They put a roof over the starting gate.
Yeah, that's what I was
That
referring
got put up in this past year,
Yeah,
probably.
That's the one I was asking
Okay.
about.
Yeah, that's one of the things that have been requested. There's 3 or 4 things requested so that we can hopefully host the state BMX tournament next year. We didn't get it this year, but there's 2 or 3, and that roof that you're talking about probably just got done, yeah.
Yeah. Was that out of their budget, or whose budget did that come from?
Now you're asking me, he had some ARP money for BMX and pickleball, and so I'm not sure. It possibly was done with ARP, I'm not sure.
Okay, that was what I was.
And then
referring
BMX people, that organization has done a lot of things over the years. But without looking it up, I'm not sure for where that money particularly came from, but it could have probably was ARP.
to. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, thank you all.
We'll now go to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of the consent agenda? Thompson and Slater on the consent. Okay, no discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
13 in favor, none opposed, and one absent.
Thank you very much. Prior to going to the committees and our districts, I would like to welcome Mike Griffith from Chamber of Commerce, the Director of Schools, Nancy Kaysen is here, and also the other representatives. And the Sheriff's Department we have here with us today, PIO Officer Scoggins. We'll start on our left with Commissioner Rogers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This week is National EMS Week. It's time to. This week we take time to dedicate to honoring the hardworking EMS professionals that we have here in Bradley County. I believe it will be Thursday. Yep, thanks. Thursday from 11 to 1 will be a drop-in luncheon at EMS, and hope to see everyone there. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
I forgot to mention Dr. Cash. I said the school system, and I've got blurry eyes, I guess. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, Commissioner Ledford, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, first of all, I'd just like to mention a longstanding member of this commission and the county school board, Mel Griffith. He's in our Ruatan Club. Last Thursday was his birthday. I just wanted to mention that. He was 90 years old. They're liable to get me for that, but I've done it anyway. I've seen on Facebook here earlier, the road department is up, I guess as we speak, in Charleston on Cass Road, paving that road. So just a big thank you out to the road department, Tom's guys, for doing what they do. And I'd also like to request everybody that prays to send a prayer up for my wife Thursday. She's having some oral surgery done Thursday, so just please send up your prayers for her. And other than that, the 6th District is doing well.
That is great.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Mason, please.
Thank you, Chairman. 6th District's doing well. I don't have anything to report.
Commissioner Slater,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to report today.
Commissioner Thompson,
Mr. Chairman, you mentioned the school people there a while ago. I'd like to mention Mrs. Kaler back here. She was on our end of the town for a long time, was principal out at Taylor there. And I thought a lot of her. She did a good job. Left a good name at Taylor. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Commissioner Gilbert, please.
Everything's good in the 4th District.
Commissioner Winters, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 60 highways moving forward. Please be safe and also be patient because there's some moments that you are in a traffic jam. So it takes a while to do this road, and we have experienced this for now over plus a year. So just be careful and be patient as we drive through there. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Collins, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The IT committee meeting occurred last week. We learned that Cleveland Utilities will soon be offering fiber optics to their customers, including many of which who do not currently have access to high-speed internet. The county will have the opportunity to connect our buildings to Cleveland Utility Fiber for what we hope is a tremendous monthly savings. We discussed using some of the ARP funds allocated for broadband to fund additional capacity to connect these county buildings to fiber and to fund the build-out of infrastructure to serve current Cleveland Utilities customers without digital connectivity. We voted to recommend requesting the mayor work with Cleveland Utilities to get a cost and timeline for additional capacity to connect county buildings and to build out the infrastructure, and for those CU customers that do not have access to high speed. We'd like to ask that group bring a funding recommendation to us for consideration. I'd like to place this recommendation in the form of a motion.
Second.
Who was the second? Okay. We have a first and a second open for discussion. No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yeah.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes. 13 in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Blake,
I was
please.
good in the 3rd. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Alford.
Yes, Second District's doing well. I do have one committee, Mr. Sheriff Lawson's asked me to bring this to y'all. Y'all've got it in front of you. Before you is a hard copy of a memorandum from the Sheriff's Office sharing plans of the Department and Cleveland Police Department to use formula-based and corroborative violent crime grant through the state of Tennessee, Office of Criminal Justice, programs funds to purchase vigilant license plate readers to be placed throughout the county. The state requires the legislative body approval of these readers and the proposed location of the readers. Page 2 of the memorandum identifies 6 locations for the readers. I move to approve and the purchase of these license plate readers and the location identified in the memorandum. If you have any questions, Mr. Coggins is here to answer your questions.
Second.
Second is by Commissioner Winters. Open for discussion, please. Yes.
Wait, real quick. So I see the locations here. If for some reason you guys decide that there's a better location or these need to be edited or added, does it have to come back to us, or can we give you a bigger, more abstract, resolution?
Well, there's a permitting process through the state Tennessee Department of Transportation. So at this point, if you approve it and we apply for the permits, we would probably likely have to come back for your approval and then go back through the state for their approval as well.
But my question is, like, you have here, Dalton Pike, South, whatever, one camera on one pole. Let's say after further review, you guys want to change that. Do you have to come back for every change? I'm asking.
Well, probably not every.
I don't want this to be laborious, is what I'm getting at. I mean, Crystal, you may know, but wherever you guys feel like you need to put them, fine with me. You spelled out specifically road and blocks. I'd like to be more broad.
Well, it's kind of one of those boxes that he has to check off, which is you all approving the location. So
Fine.
My concern would be if we weren't specific, they would say, well, you didn't really, if you just say, hey, we're good with you putting them wherever, they would say, well, you didn't really approve the location. So we probably would have to come back.
Yeah, they have emphasized us having the locations approved, so.
So you don't have to come up here every single time you guys want to add, delete, or change, but it sounds like you do, so.
It's the state's approval, yeah.
Commissioner Thompson, please.
Only thing I'd say, they know what they're doing, so let them do their job. Thank you.
Commissioner Collins, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Only thing I would give you an opportunity to elaborate on, these are not speed trap cameras, and we talked about this in committee. Do you want an opportunity to take 60 seconds and explain to the community kind of what these
They're
are?
certainly not traffic monitoring or speed trap cameras. We will be using them primarily to locate missing persons, missing children, blue alerts, silver alerts, amber alerts, as well as stolen vehicles. It's basically just looking at a license plate, and if there's an NCIC entry showing that vehicle is stolen or this is a missing person car, it will alert law enforcement as to their location.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much, sir. Call the roll, please.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
13 in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent.
Thank you very much. Still your nickel there, Commissioner Alford.
Only nickel I've got today.
Okay. Commissioner,
I went to the store the other day and I'm broker.
Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, I have no nickels today.
All right, Commissioner Beatty.
Everything's doing well in First District.
All right, we'll now move along to unfinished business, and we'll go right through that to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval? Commissioner Slater, second. Commissioner Hughes. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Ledford.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
13 in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent.
Thank you very much. We'll now move into the agenda. Agenda item A, Commissioner Cindy Slater, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution authorizing the Bradley County Mayor to negotiate and enter into a master purchase, license, and service agreement with Dynamic Imaging Systems for correct track application software for use by the Bradley County Sheriff's Office for an amount of $56,102 for a period of 3 years, and I place this in the form of a motion.
Do I have a second, please? Commissioner Thompson on the second. Open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
13 in favor, none opposed, and one absent.
Thank you. Agenda item B, Commissioner Beatty.
I move to approve the resolution to commit funding of up to $15.1 million to fund the construction of new academy building at Hopewell Elementary School and to expand the cafeteria with funding to commence in the financial year of 24 and 25.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hughes. Open for discussion, please. Commissioner Alford.
I'd like to place a substitute motion on the very last sentence of that resolution where it's talking about the time frame and everything. I'd like to remove from the resolution upon final completion of the Hopewell project. I think we're tying our hands if we wait 4 more years before we do anything. So I'd just like to remove that part of this resolution, that signing, and okay with that.
Do I have a second on the substitute motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rogers. Open for discussion. Yes, Commissioner Thompson.
Sir, it just says that, I haven't got it right here in front of me, I was looking for it a minute ago, but basically, we're just removing that timing thing where that, it says basically, the motion says that we will not build the track at Bradley for 4 more years till the Hopewell project's finished. We will put 1.8 into the project. That's what I was looking for.
It's page 68.
It's the very last sentence in that resolution.
On the bottom there.
I don't have that hard copy.
Page 68 there, Louis.
Oh, well, I know that. Yeah, that's what I read. I offer a substitute motion to strike from the resolution upon final completion of the Hopewell project from the last paragraph of the first page.
Commissioner Thompson, please.
That does mean that you're gonna do the track after Hopewell.
It means I hope we can, but I don't want to wait 4 years before we get to that point. That if the resolution passes like it is right now, we could not do anything with the track for 4 years.
Commissioner Blake.
So basically, the language in the resolution says that it cannot be done until after the Hopewell. And that pretty much ties the hands of the mayor. So we want to kind of undo that. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen any sooner, but if something comes up, you know, win the lotto, I don't know. You don't have to go back. Now it basically says, if tomorrow we can do it, fine. If 4 years, I mean, probably the odds are it's going to be towards the end of it. But this, makes the language is very I can't even speak specific. Where you make it more abstract, where it's more flexible. Gives the mayor more flexibility. Gives the school system more flexibility. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen any sooner or later. It just makes the language a little bit more conducive to working with the timeline. The mayor and school system have already have a quasi, a blueprint of a timeline. This ties their hands. Let's untie their hands, and it's still the Hopewell School project's going to be done through the phases they've outlined, and the track is going to be done. It's just now you don't have to wait until completion. You know, ribbon cutting day of Hopewell, and then start. May be able to start in parallel if the funding and the timing is appropriate. That's kind of what we're doing. So I think it's a good substitute motion. I'll support it.
Dr. Cash, you're willing to speak. You've been asked to speak.
No.
Good afternoon. How are y'all today? Mr. Thompson, how can I help you? Okay, so my understanding, and I haven't, haven't seen the language in the substitute motion, but my understanding is it simply takes the timeline off of it. So if there was an opportunity to start the track earlier, that would allow us to do that. It doesn't tie anybody's hands to a timeline. It's just if the funding were available, let's say that we have a miraculous new business come in that brings all this tax money in, it gives us an opportunity to look at it before Hopewell is finished, if that is a possibility.
Commissioner Gilbert.
Is a track needed right now?
Depends on who you talk with and who's in line on first, second, or third. So
Do they have don't Bradley already have a track?
Yes, sir, they do have a track.
Is it usable?
It is usable. It is my understanding that it's used for practices. I think that they use other alternatives for track meets, but I can send that and clarify. But it is usable. It's a practice field up. It has the jumping materials, the infield, and the track. And they've done some service with it, but it would not be up to an 8. I may be saying this, a 6 lane. I think it's a 6, and an 8 is the typical right now. They're building 8-lane tracks.
Commissioner Winters, please.
But if there is such a situation, it would go back to the school board would review this, and then submit back to the commission, correct?
No, sir, it would be a commission decision about the timeline of the track, but the relationship that we have with the mayor, we would always work in conjunction, so.
It would
yes,
be
sir,
ours to do.
it's the commission.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If I may, in the resolution, I know we all read it, but just to reiterate, the resolution does speak to the fact, I was with Crystal on some of the language. Remember, we still have to pass a budget every year, so this probably is going to get revisited every year with respect to funding and where we are with these projects. So about this time next year, we'll see where we're at with Hopewell project track. So it's an ongoing process, but like she just said, this just unties the hands unnecessarily on this resolution.
But it only unties them for 12 months, so it'll be revisited every budget
I mean,
year.
this budget is almost, mayor's proposal, like he says, coming in 2 weeks. Finance will tweak it, and then we'll have a resolution by the end of June. So the 24-25 budget is coming to the finish line. But, like she said, if a company came in or somebody made a major donation, you would have to come back and strike this resolution because it specifically says after Hopewell. Now we take that out, it gives you more flexibility.
Thank you. Anyone else? No.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone have anything else?
Commissioner Slater.
Yes. Commissioner Slater.
Is the plan to come back and move the track up and try to bond the money, the $8 million, and do the track as soon as possible?
Not this time. The only thing it allows us to take out that it specifically says after Hopewell. So one day Hopewell's going to be done. We'll do the ribbon cutting. They'll have new classrooms and all that kind of stuff. Go by the letter of this resolution. Hopewell starts after that ribbon cutting. Now, if possible, it can be done in parallel, but there's no talk about bonding the track and like that. It would still come out of 189 as the resolution says.
Because I won't support bonding any money for the track. I'll just state that today. Thank you.
Which is, I guess, why we.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
Just a note, what I am looking at in the resolution, it simply strikes, it would read, be it further resolved that this is agreed that Bradley County will fund up to $1.8 million for the Bradley County High School track, and then it removes the remainder of it. I did want to point out, Commissioner Blake, the 1.8 that we had talked about revising that, so just want to point that out.
Commissioner Alford, you have a comment?
Oh, I was going to comment to Mr. Gilbert. He wasn't aware that the track 6-lane track, they need 8 nowadays to run a track meet. But one thing we mentioned last week, Ms. Cash, you can sit down if you want. I don't have any more questions for you. I was just going to relay.
Thank you, Dr. Cash.
Some stuff that we talked about the other day, you weren't here, but the fact that I talked to some of the people over at Bradley, they haven't had a home track meet in 8 years. And the only home track meet they have is over at Lee, and that's for a fundraiser, one time a year. And so that's the problem right now, that they can't have a home track meet because they don't have enough facilities. Thank you.
Commissioner Thompson.
Dr. Cash, I appreciate you. You can stand up as long as you want to. Thank you.
Is there anyone else, please? Call
Mr.
the roll, please.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
just wanted to add it in reference to Commissioner Thompson. Pulling this out doesn't change the agreement we have with schools. The phases and everything for Hopewell are still in place, so it doesn't change any of that.
That adds some clarity to it. Call the roll, please.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
No.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
No.
Thompson,
Oh, but thank you.
Slater,
No.
Mason,
No.
Ledford,
No.
Rogers,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
No.
Hughes.
Yes.
Well, that's 7 in favor, 6 opposed, and 1 absent.
Takes 8 votes to move the courthouse. Motion fails.
I ask if anybody wants to change
Is it?
Yeah, does anybody want to change their vote?
me.
You do.
Oh, gosh.
You voted yes, but how do you want to vote now? That'd be no?
Okay.
Chairman.
Yes.
And let me backtrack on my vote and make a statement here. I do vote as I voted. And I'd like to say, my daughter-in-law is an employee of Bradley County Schools, currently employed at Hopewell Elementary School. I'm hereby making this public acknowledgement of this interest related to the proposal about to be that's been voted. However, I declare that my argument and my vote answer only to my conscience and to my obligation to my constituents and the citizens of Bradley County. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Gilbert.
Think Howard.
Clarify my
You voted no.
first time.
Yes.
Voted
You voted yes the first time, she
Yes.
changed it to no.
And then you voted no.
now. Pass.
No.
No.
You have to have
Let's
one
go
more.
back the other way.
Still ain't gonna pass.
Still ain't gonna pass.
No.
Just leave it like it was.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Gilbert.
I'd like to change my vote to yes.
Well, I would suggest we revote, might be easier.
Yeah.
Okay. The county attorney suggests that we revote. Please,
Read the motion one more
please
time.
read the motion one more time.
I offer substitute motions to strike from the resolution, fact, upon final completion of the Hopewell project, in the last paragraph of the first page. Few people vote no. It's not saying anything other than that we're not going to tie our hands 4 years down the road. It's common sense that if we come up with money next year, we could build the track. If we come up with money 2 years now, we could build the track. We can't wait 4 years to do it. That's all we're doing. We're eliminating that one part that opens it up. If money becomes available before 4 years, we can actually start on the track.
But if,
Yes. Commissioner Hughes.
but if money became available, we could also come back and revisit the resolution, correct?
We can, yeah.
Is it-
County attorney, can we do that?
You can always
Whatever
revisit.
can always
Yeah,
Whatever you want.
yeah, we can always revisit the resolution and change it. And what we have here is a negotiated agreement between the school board and the county. Yes.
There is a flip side of this also, that we can revisit it. However, if you don't have a timeline, and this is my only concern, I'll support it, but my only concern is not having a timeline means that if another project comes up and it's more important than this, then we can put it off down the road even further. That's the flip side of this, without having a date on it, so.
Okay. Any other discussion? We're gonna have the revote here.
This is on the substitute motion.
On the substitute motion. All right, call the roll, please.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
No.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slater,
No.
Mason,
No.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Okay, that's gonna be 10 approved, 3 opposed, and 1 absent.
Substitute motion passes. All right. We'll now go to agenda item C. Commissioner Mike Hughes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve a resolution authorizing the county attorney to prepare and file any and all necessary legal actions in the court of Bradley County to institute injunction, mandamus, abatement, or any other appropriate action to prevent, enjoin, and abate the unlawful use of property located at 440 Old Powerline Road Northeast, Cleveland, Tennessee. I put that in form of motion.
Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Got a second from Commissioner Beatty. Open for discussion?
Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you. One quick question for Commissioner Hughes. This did come out of Planning Commission, this recommendation to prepare and file all legal action?
This actually did not come out of planning commission. This came from a rezoning that we had went through the planning. It failed to, it failed. Came through commission, failed again, and since then the property owner is still running it as such. But the county attorney can go into more detail on what the procedure is on that.
Yes, what's the catalyst?
So the zoning resolution that is adopted for Bradley County has a procedure if a zoning violation is in place. So the procedure is this. So one piece is there is a misdemeanor violation of a fine, and then there also is the injunctive possibility. So this is us continuing down the road and the process that we have in our zoning resolution for anything else to be done to make the property come into compliance. So it's not really a recommendation from anybody, and that would be normal. Planning Commission, once they say we do or do not approve the rezoning and you all do that, they don't tell us to move forward in the zoning.
My understanding that this individual has applied for rezoning.
Yes.
So we need to let that process fill this.
Are you talking about the second time?
I believe so. So I think, before we get into your world, the legal world, we need to let the planning commission adhere this new application.
You all could make that decision, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got my facts. So, Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd like to make a substitute motion to send this to the planning commission for further review. You can always come back to the planning commission, I think. 20th, not that far away, and that I'm aware of can be adhered, can be put on the planning commission agenda. You guys can let us know what you need at that time. That's the best course of action.
Second.
Got a second on the substitute motion. Commissioner Thompson, please. Commissioner Hughes.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Ron. Ron, has any of the details changed on that property? Have they bought another 20 acres to go with it?
No.
Okay.
And he has reapplied for rezoning. But according to the zoning ordinance, it's not gonna match. It wouldn't be approved. It would have to be done on a use on review by the planning commission or the BZA, Board of Zoning Appeal.
Am I correct, though? You have to have 20 acres to have a
25.
salvage yard? 25 acres?
25 acres for
And
a
they have how many
salvage
acres?
yard. Sir,
How many acres is there?
5.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else while I'm up here?
Yes, how many times have they applied already?
This will be the second time, Chairman.
This will be the second time. Yes,
What is the unlawful use of the property?
It's being used as a salvage yard in which requires an I-1 zoning.
Right.
It is C2 or 3, which does not allow for salvage.
So basically this, excuse me for interrupting,
Go right ahead.
this is saying to institute an injunction, mandamus, abatement, appropriate action to prevent and enjoin the guy. This is not talking about zoning at all here.
No,
This is
no.
talking about him misusing the property,
Right.
making it a eyesore
Basically,
probably
it's
for
trying
the,
to get them desist
okay.
from
So
using
that's
the
what this
property in
is,
this zone.
rather than just zoning.
Yes.
So if we,
This has nothing to do with the zoning that's there to either rezone it or
to
anything with it.
go to the planning commission is
Yes.
not necessary, or is necessary.
Yes, the planning commission to rezone it.
Well, you
would
said it
have to
was,
hear it.
but we're talking about abatement, unlawful activities
Yes.
going on right now, right?
Well, we are, but if the property was, it is about zoning. So in the zoning ordinance, the only recourse the county has to make a person stop using their property inconsistent with zoning is the language that you see here, which is directly from our resolution. So yes, if a property is being operated counter to its zoning, injunctive relief is asking court to force them to stop doing that. So yes, it is related to the zoning. If it were zoned properly, they would be allowed to do what they're doing in this zone.
You're wanting this to be done first, though, it looks like here. This looks
Well,
like,
my understanding when this resolution was drafted, it had already been through this entire process once, and you all and the planning commission did not rezone the property, and so this is the next step. So I think this happened in the meantime, but I do agree that I'm not sure there is a change of circumstance for the property.
But
Commissioner Thompson, please.
Okay, this doesn't change anything at all. You still got to have 25 acres, right?
Correct.
So no matter
In
how it's
order to
zoned,
be in zoning, in line, or in alignment with the zoning ordinance,
Okay.
25 acres is required.
in other words, if you zone that 5 acres, what it's supposed to be, then it still wouldn't make a difference unless he's got 25 acres, right?
Pretty much so, yes.
unless,
Yes, it would. If you were to decide to go, if you were to decide to rezone the property, regardless of whether or not it meets certain requirements, and you can, if you were to decide to rezone the 5 acres and it's properly zoned for a salvage yard, then there would be no zoning violation.
That's correct.
What about the 25 acres?
That's a requirement in the zoning ordinance where it says in order to do these uses, you have to have the following things. So what he's saying is when he looks at this 5 acres as the planner, he's most likely, at least he did last time, going to say this particular piece of property doesn't meet the zoning requirements in order to be rezoned. That doesn't mean, however, you all can't do it. It just means he's recommending that you not, because the zoning ordinance says that this is not an appropriate parcel for that particular type of zoning.
Commissioner Hughes, then Roger.
Just for a question, what are the steps that you've made to make the property owner aware that they're in violation of that?
Do what again?
What are the steps that you've taken to make sure the property owner is aware that they're in violation of it?
Sent them, certified letters.
How many certified letters have you sent to them? Put
One.
them on notification?
One.
And they knew that when they went through planning and through the commission that they were in violation at that point, correct?
At the first time, yes.
So if I'm
Now,
understanding
let
this
me say-
correct,
Let me get clarification here. Are you speaking about the first time they brought it through the planning commission for rezoning, or?
I was talking about
leading
actually
up
when
to
it came
this?
through the commission on the first time,
Okay.
they were made aware that they didn't
Right.
approve at that point.
Right, they were made aware that it hadn't been approved at that meeting, or after that meeting. When the commission reject it.
So in essence, if we do not pass this today, what's gonna happen is it may go through planning again, and if it goes through and doesn't get the rezoning approved a second time, then you'll make your steps and start all over, sending letters, doing the same thing. They're gonna continue doing what they're gonna do, and then about the time it comes to this point, they'll just file for zoning again, because you can file for rezoning how many times?
I've been unable to determine that.
So there's, yes.
Yes, there is, it is up to the planning commission whether they decide to rehear something or not. There is guidance on that, which basically says there either has to be a change of circumstance, which the applicant can show, or there has to be some sort of fraud, deceit, something that wasn't known the first time the rezoning was requested. So I just want to make clear that, no, we are not going to rehear rezoning requests over and over again, and there is legal support for that.
Is there any changes since the last time?
I have no idea, Commissioner. I've not seen the application, and that decision will ultimately be up to Planning Commission.
Not that I can tell, Commissioner Hughes.
Thank you.
Mr. Rogers, please.
I just do want clarity that there is a second, there is a second application, correct?
There is a second request for rezoning that property.
So if we vote this in today, then we institute an injunction against this gentleman or lady, against this property, while they are in the process of trying to go through rezoning again. If it gets denied again, then they can go to BZA, correct, for an appeal on that rezone. Is that the steps that they could take?
I'm not
No,
sure that they can go through BZA with it.
No, unless they're trying to get a use permitted on appeal, which they're not. They are simply trying to get the property rezoned. So they will make the request. If planning deems that it is a request that's valid and a change and something they're going to hear, they will hear it, and then it will come to you all for a vote. It doesn't go to BZA unless it's a use permitted.
So this substitute motion is to send it back, let them look at it again, make sure, cross their I's, dot their T's, cross their T's, right, dot their I's. Yeah.
I can do both.
And then bring it back if it doesn't pass.
That's
correct?
That's the substitute motion. It seems to me, before we get into the legal world, with all due respect to that, knowing that an application, so in other words, the planning commission says not only no, heck no, to the second application, it'll be right back to us, and it'll be on the agenda. Commissioner Hughes will have it. But I guess the intention of the motion today will happen. But I'm of the opinion that if they went so far as to do an application, they knew the history of getting to this point, and before we get into the legal piece of it, give them an opportunity. We're talking 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. You know, we got holiday here, whatever. You know, this commission is a commission that's passionate to a certain degree, and I think it's the livelihood as well. So before we shut somebody totally down, give them an opportunity. I mean, we've all wanted to appeal something before, and this isn't an appeal, but that was the motivation behind the sex, to give it 3 more weeks, since there is a legitimate, well, planning commission will determine whether it's a legitimate application. But an application has been filed. We do know that. So let that see the light of day, let it get heard, and then kind of like, if they see the information is pertinent, then planning commission can make another recommendation or send it back to us, and we'll be right here doing this again. So that's what
Commissioner
this
Thompson
is all about.
Okay, when you rezone it, you're right. Any piece of property we want to. But after you rezone it, if it does pass, then he still can't operate because of the acreage. Is that correct?
No, to my knowledge, there's no, unless there's some sort of state permitting that he can't get, if we rezone the property, that 5 acres can be used consistent with how we've rezoned it, which would include salvage if it goes to I-1.
But where did the 25 acres come from? Where's that?
It's in the zoning regulations for any kind of salvage yard, that in order to do so, you have to have 25 acres to start a salvage yard.
So what effect would that have on it if it's rezoned?
if you all choose to rezone it and make a decision that you think this 5 acres should be rezoned and should be used for that use, that 5 acres would be allowed to use that. The zoning ordinance has parameters in place or things that are required for certain types of zone to give you guidance on the property should, for instance, if you have a half of an acre, there's certain things in the zoning that they say you shouldn't use a half an acre, you need something bigger for that type of use. So our zoning says these are the things you should have in place in order for it to be zoned I-1. And what he's telling you is that this piece of property doesn't meet all those, doesn't check all those boxes. But if you all choose to rezone it, it will then be allowed to be used for anything that's I-1.
Mr. Hughes.
Ms. Freiberg, do you recall when it went through zoning the first time? It's been close to a year, if not over a year, has it not been?
Yes, it's been a year.
So they've operated knowing that they were in violation for over a year, and now they decide to refile for rezoning again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Winters, please.
Is this property still being a junkyard? I mean, that's what you said it
Yes.
was, right?
Yes.
And they're still doing that?
Yes.
And they're doing that unlawfully?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay.
And it has been done for a year or so.
And this is just trying to enjoin them that they can't do anything with unlawful activity?
Correct.
Correct. And in the meantime, then they can go for zoning, trying to expand that. No. In the meantime, they can't go for zoning? I mean, in the meantime, they can look at that.
Yes.
The thing you're asking here is to quit dumping on the property, that they keep doing that.
Right.
And are there neighbors around here? Is it totally an isolated spot, or are there people around them?
No, there are 3 or 4 houses in front of this property and adjoining property on the sides, but I'm hearing no complaints from them. Okay. Yeah, it's.
Mr. Slater, please.
So is this a junkyard, or is it recycling, or what exactly is it?
It is actually recycling. He's buying materials, cars, whatever, bringing them in, and then placing them on trucks and shipping them out.
Does he have a permit to do that?
I'm not sure if there's one required or not. The business license, I think he does have. Okay, but.
So it's not a junkyard like an automobile junkyard, it's a recycling.
Yes, and it's dismantling or not dismantling products unless it's to get it to fit in the truck, according to what I'm understanding.
Because what I've been told is that he has a valid state permit for recycling.
And he may have. I have not seen it.
And we're going to shut his business down if we vote the original motion today.
Over a period of time, I'm sure.
They get a state license, not being able to go through.
For clarity, right, it didn't pass the zoning from the zoning board because of the 25 acres. Is that correct?
I would assume that would be one of the
So
reasons.
he has 5 acres. So that was their only, the requirement in our zoning laws state 25 acres. So that number, I'm assuming, is that a number that's been placed there? Can that number change? Or we could vote it in as I-1, and the gentleman who has all the state permits, that has the permitting and has everything, he can still operate his business with 5 acres. If we decide, if it goes through everything and it decides to pass it. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. Slater.
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson, how many acres do you have to recycle on your property?
Probably about 100 square feet. You want to just recycle for
So
yourself.
so he has enough to recycle.
Probably, yes, if you consider it a recycling service. And see, that's where our zoning ordinance needs some clarification. And that, I'm going on what the zoning ordinance says, not what I want it to say or what it should say, but what it actually says. Because it's like a 300 front buffer from any house, got to have to the, business taking place, and there's several other things besides just the 25 acres. But this
Not for recycling.
Not for recycling. This is just for salvage.
And that's what he's doing, is recycling.
To my knowledge, yes, and the way he explains it to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
County Attorney, let me ask, have you made any attempts, or has the county made any attempts to fine him in violation or anything?
We cannot do that ourselves because it's, in our ordinance, it is a criminal citation and it is only $50 a day. So that is something we could consider doing, but this step would be the only step that would require them to stop using the property the way it's currently being used.
So now
Which is
we've
a salvage
concluded,
yard, is
we've
my
concluded
understanding.
we're not dealing with a junkyard, we're dealing with a recycling.
My understanding is under the zoning and the investigation that was done by Mr. Wilson is that it's being operated as a salvage yard per the definition in our zoning.
Okay.
I was looking to see if he might be here. I thought I told him to be here today, but he didn't show.
Okay. Commissioner Alford.
Do you have a copy of your new application?
I have one in my office. I do not have one with me.
But y'all haven't met on it or anything?
Not the planning commission, no. I just got it last week.
I agree with Mr. Blake that we should probably go through that cycle first, because I think there's a big difference between recycling and a junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got to determine whether he's recycling or if he's a junkyard.
Right.
So I think before we vote one way or the other, we got to determine what he's actually doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying is our zoning ordinance classifies it one way. Okay, and recycling and salvage basically fits in the same slot that he's doing. Okay, and salvage yard is the one that requires 25 acres. Recycling or any industrial zone is only required to have 5 acres.
Right.
Okay, but when you put that designation of salvage, that throws it to 25 acres.
So I think
sense?
it'd be important that y'all review his application again and see what he's saying on his application.
Right, and I have looked at it, and he's saying recycling, but when I put it back against what the zoning ordinance says, it says I-1 zone, 25 acres. And so that's what I'm saying. This zoning ordinance is several years old. It has been reworked several times, and that is in our process to do. But
It falls in line with a lot of our things. We had a lot of stuff that's way behind, like, I don't want to bring that other thing about rezoning. The whole deal about zoning is way behind.
yes,
So I still think we need to look
it's
at
in
his application again and let y'all come back to us with a recommendation before we just get rid of him.
That's you tell us what to do, we'll do it.
Commissioner Hughes, please.
Ron, I have one more question for
Yes.
you. As far as the person that filed for the rezoning, was that the property owner or the person that's actually leasing the property?
The
for
actual
business?
tenant, so to speak, was the one that brought it in, and he is supposedly bringing back the one signed by the homeowner or the landowner.
I was about to ask if the property owner had given permission to do that or not.
Mm-hmm, yes, because the first time he did have one that he signed and the one that the landowner signed.
Well, at this time, property owner's not actually requested, it's just.
Not at this point. He had to sign it, and he has seen where he had forgot to have her sign it, so he was taking it back to bring it back to us.
Thank you.
I think we've had about enough comments on this thing. Let's call the roll, please.
Alford,
Could I have read the substitute motion again or whatever?
actually, you're just asking to send it back to planning.
I'll vote yes on that then.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes.
No.
So that would be 12 in favor, 1 opposed, and 1 absent.
Thank you. We'll move along to agenda item D. Vice Chairman Bill Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In our last meeting, we had a spokesperson couple coming to us asking us to look at a situation regarding a chicken farm, a poultry farm beside their farm, and that had imploded water across the line into their ponds and made it very difficult to do what they wanted to do with their farm. What this motion is a letter to the Department of Environment and Conservation to inquire about the compliance status of Coyote Pass Chicken Farm located on Carson Road. You'll see the letter submitted by our chairman on page 72. This is only asking the Department, TDEC, to take a look at this. Several of us have been out to look at that. It is a poultry farm beside the farm that a couple owns that are trying to use as a farm to sell flowers and also have people come visit and enjoy the farm as it is. They feel like that this water coming across, which is a TDEC responsibility to take a look at. Talked with TDEC. TDEC is in the process, but there's been four statements of being out of compliance, and they're still working on this to be done. So this is just trying to move on. If you don't look at the letter, it's on page 72. I won't read the entire letter, but it is basically supporting people that are looking at wanting their farm to be more useful based on some problems that are coming from the farm beside. That's a TDEC matter. We have a very good contact with TDEC that I've chatted with. This will not be a challenge to them. It will be just moving it forward. That's what we're wanting to have done. Water is murky, brown water in a pond. If they want to have a little boat and have people to be in a boat, people to be able to swim in if they wanted to, and at this point, it's unable to do that. Mr. Chairman, I place this as far as a motion.
Do I have a second? Commissioner Thompson on the second. Open for discussion, please. Mr. Thompson.
I just like to wait.
I think they reviewed it in March, didn't they? I think they reviewed it and found them still in compliance, non-compliant with the thing in March. We're just asking that they not let the thing slip. That's all we're doing. Yeah. Anybody else? Commissioner Alford.
Just a question, Commissioner Mason. Have you had since you're our environmental officer, have you reviewed this situation out there at all?
I have not.
Anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Thompson.
Commissioner Officer, I've knew since this thing started out there, and it's been going on for several months. They've got about $1 million chicken houses out there. I guess they just built. So anyway, I don't think it's got anything to do with the houses itself or the poultry. It's got to do with the runoff. So if we wait and hear from TDEC, I'm sure TDEC will probably take care of that.
They've got them in citation. They reviewed the citation in March, and they're still in non-compliance. The water is running off the buildings and into the pond of the neighbors, and it's basically ruined the pond. But it's non-functional. They allegedly have had some dead fish come up and all. And all we're doing is asking that TDEC stay on top of it. We're not asking for anything to be done to anyone. And there's nothing wrong with building chicken houses. It's a farming zoning. There's no zoning issues here, to my knowledge. Is there anyone else? Yeah. You have something, Commissioner Led? Oh, okay. Call the roll, please.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Slater,
No.
Mason,
Yes.
Ledford,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hughes. So that's 12 in favor, 1 opposed, and 1 absent.
Thank you. Next item, communication from the audience. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? I'll provide you 5 minutes. No one would like to speak, and the announcements, next meeting, work session, Tuesday, May the 28th at 7 p.m. here at the courthouse. Upcoming events, Eaton Training Center naming May the 22nd at 1 p.m. at the Pie Center. EMS Appreciation Lunch, May the 23rd, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Paul Huff Station. Chamber of Commerce After Hours, May the 23rd, 4:30 to 8, Cleveland Coffee and Market. County offices will be closed May the 27th in observance of Memorial Day. Memorial Day service, May the 27th at 11 a.m. at the Courthouse Square.